Wellness, where you find everything health, wellness, and consciousness. I am Noelle Agape, and I am your host. And today I am here with one of my dear friends, and we're actually live together, which is amazing. She is so beautiful. Her name is Kamelia Britton, and she is pure divine light into this world. She is a retired nurse. She's a Reiki master. She's a travel blogger, and she's pretty much just a badass across the board. Her journey through this life and through just bringing light into this world is so amazing and so incredible. Welcome, Kim. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
So tell us a little bit about your story and your journey, because it's such a heartfelt story. And I wanted to bring your story out to the viewers just to platform from where you were. So.
Yeah, so I'll kind of start with being a nurse, because that's kind of the first, thing in my life, So I was a nurse, back in, back in like 2001. So I started as a nurse, loved nursing, but really loved to travel. And so I, was a traveler for 10 plus years before I ever started a blog. I started my travel blog to kind of help people learn how to travel more for less, which is what I was doing as a nurse, like a single girl with not a lot of money. And so, I started my blog, packerette.com. And then after that, I started that in 2016. And before that, actually, I was actually doing Reiki also. I was a Reiki master and instructor just because I was interested in the wellness industry, of course. And also was trying to get out of nursing and just do something more with passion, because the nursing cycle seemed to just kind of be full for me, be kind of done with that cycle of my life. So I was looking for other things and trying different things. So I was a Reiki master instructor and all that good stuff. And I owned a business called La Jolla Reiki here in California for a while. And then I realized my passion was, so much more, and I wanted to travel. So I kind of started that. So I started my blog in 2016 and got popular really quickly. And then I was traveling the world. I was in a new country once a month. And it was great. I was literally living my dream, created it, so grateful every day. And and then, this year was definitely peak. I was, it's been about 3 years since I've been in the industry, and I've really taken off, and I was doing this full time. I was able to quit my job as a nurse. And so, living the dream. And then here in 2019, back in May, I found a lump in my left breast, and long story short, on July 12th of 2019, I was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer. So it is, a very rare breast cancer. It is treatable since we have caught it early enough. But of course, being a travel blogger, it kind of has me grounded a bit. I can't really travel now because I have to get my treatments, and my treatment schedule is pretty rigorous because this is an extremely aggressive grade 3 tumor, where that means it's the fastest moving, the most aggressive. And so basically they pretty much told me I'm going to be, not traveling for probably a year. So the travel blogger who cannot travel. So what do you do, right? So of course you pivot. So I basically, I still have an audience that loves travel, but after 3 years, some of my audience just likes me, which is nice. So, and how can I just wanted to know how I could offer value, in such a way, and just continue to offer value to my audience. There's a big audience of women, and, I was learning so much about what I was putting in my body and on my body, more importantly too, the things we don't think about, like makeup and beauty and lotions and nutrition and wellness. And I was definitely into that stuff before, but I'm way more conscious now, of course, once you realize that, there's a cell that went the wrong way in your body, you want to prevent that from happening again. And so a lot of the research with triple negative breast cancer is, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot you can do once you're done with treatment. With other cancers like hormonal types, which are 80% or so of breast cancers, you can take medications like tamoxifen and things like that later on down the line to keep suppressing the cancer from coming back. But with triple negative, there's really no kind of insurance policy except for health and wellness. So that's where, I was like, okay, I need to be proactive. I need to really step it up. I was already eating pretty healthy, of course, and things like that. But now I'm stepping things up to another level, and I'm sharing that with my audience so that they can also be informed and aware. And it's a whole new path for me. So I'm excited, and that's kind of, where we're going now.
Well, I just love you. She's one of my closest friends. And so this journey for you you have stayed so much in strength and so much in grace and just in beauty. And so embodying the divine feminine through this entire process, which is pretty amazing because it's not an easy journey by any means, right? And so you have stood, but mindset is pretty much across every platform that you have. So can you tell me and our viewers a little bit about mindset, especially going through the depths of hell, right? Going through the chemo, going through, you know, living your life to the fullest, and then all of a sudden your world getting rocked and getting pulled from you. Tell us a little bit about that and that journey and just how your mindset, because you truly do stand in beauty and grace, regardless of whatever you're doing, right? And so tell us how you do that, and then maybe the mindset that you promote.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives me chills even just to think about it or talk about it. So I'm happy to share that. You know, whenever I'm good now. Whenever, you know, the day I got diagnosed, you know, I was at the peak of my career. I'm engaged to the love of my life. I was grateful. I was happy. It was always coming from a place of love. It just didn't make sense. It didn't add up. You know, I didn't smoke for 100 years. I'm not, you know, eating pizza every weekend, you know, things like that. So it just didn't make sense to me. And then, you know, so I really went from, you know, because of the life that I created for myself with tons of hard work over, you know, a few years, I'd really created this life of literally just boundless freedom. And so I went from boundless freedom to the ultimate restriction and overnight, and it was unexpected, and I didn't even do anything wrong. So it was very challenging to, you know, to kind of experience that and feel like it wasn't fair, because why is this happening to me? Like I wasn't, you know, like I eat my vegetables and make my bed, and you know, like why me? So, you know, there was some why me, and I think that's an easy thing to go to, but I'm also such a person of like, how do we fix it? So I didn't dwell too long on the why me. It was more on how do we fix it and what now? So I can't even tell you it's been such a progression, and I'll expand on that, I guess. The first week, when the first words that you hear are, you have cancer, your heart just sinks to your stomach. You're in shock, disbelief. Your first question is everything going to be okay? Am I dying? Like how long? How bad is it? What is it? What stage am I? And what most people don't know, even me as a nurse did not know, is that it takes a while to stage you. You don't even know what stage you're at for a while. So you are tested. Your strength and your mindset are really, really tested. And you feel fine, but you can, and the more I learn, you can be at stage 4 cancer and feel okay. That's why it's like almost like the silent killer. You really have to be in tune with your body, and you just really have to be proactive. You know, even if you have a cough, I've heard of now girls I've learned that are 22 and they had a cough and they're like, we live in Canada, it's winter. Like who would think, you know, and they had stage 4 cancer. It's crazy. So this thing can just sneak up on you. So public service announcement, just be in tune with your body. But going through that on this end, you know, going through that as a person who is healthy, is grateful, feels to be in alignment for the most part. And just going through that, the first month was absolutely the hardest probably of my life, because there were so many questions, there were no answers. You know, it was a roller coaster for sure in every sense of the word. And that's what everybody says. And I can vouch for that 1,000,000%. It was the ups and the downs. One day I would be like, okay, it's fine. Like, I feel okay. Like, you know, we're going to do this or whatever, we can do this. And then the next day I would have an uncontrollable, just crying attack of emotion that I just had to let out. And, you know, when they told me that you know, like little bits of information were coming in and trickling along, and it was like, it's almost like they just kept giving you bad information, and it was just drip feeding in. And it's also just hard. I would just rather rip the Band-Aid off and like get it over with, but that's just not how it works. There was like new tests coming in every day, new results. And when they told me, I had gotten my results for the 2, before they found out it was triple negative, they were waiting on the last test. So they called me and they said, you know, it's not, your cancer is not fed by estrogen and it's not fed by progesterone. And we're just waiting on one more test to come back, which is the HER2, which is another thing that it could test for. So, and she said, if it comes back negative, then you basically have triple negative breast cancer. It's the most rare, it's the most aggressive, there's less treatments for it, it's the most fatal in the first 5 years, like all this stuff, so immediately, I get off the phone, and I know I shouldn't, but I went straight to Google, and it literally says on Google all these things like, fatal in the first 5 years. And I lose it. Like, I lose my mind. I fall to my knees with my face in my bed, just crying out, saying like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do with this? And it was just this full release of like surrender and just everything of like, why is this happening? Okay, fine. If it's, I don't know why, I'm never going to know the why, but like the what do you want me to do with this? How am I supposed to do this? Where is the lesson here? And so I knew in my heart, like I wanted to be able to like help someone else, because the pain of, going through all this is just so hard. And, I pretty quickly made a YouTube video, which we can share, whatever. It was just kind of like the things that kind of helped me cope. I mean, and just, it's been hard, and it's a daily challenge, and now it's definitely much better now. There are way more, good days than bad days now, thank God. But then each step is a new step, and then, being terrified of the chemo and what's it going to do to me, because you have this healthy body that was functioning perfectly except for this one little rogue cell. But everything else was perfect. Like all my labs were perfect, all my physical, like we would have never ever known had we not checked for this lump. And so, going into the chemo, like I was prepared, and I was like, okay, let's do this. And I felt strong, and ended up getting my first dose of chemotherapy, and I ended up in the hospital that night for uncontrollable nausea and vomiting. And I was like, wait, okay, I was positive, I had my mindset right, like everything was, in tune, and here again, why are we here? So my body just rejected it for whatever reason. They said it was totally not normal. It was kind of a freak accident. I guess I'm just a weirdo. I don't know. So, but I'm constantly being challenged on top of my challenge. You know what I mean? It's already challenging enough to, just, you can imagine the uncertainty that this has created in my life in every single aspect, from, my career, number one, first and foremost, like how am I going to make money to pay for all this treatment? There's so many treatments that are not covered, like emergency egg retrieval, and that was like $15,000, $20,000 out of pocket, and just, all these extra tests, and anything alternative or complementary that's natural is not covered, by insurance. So that was a tremendous stressor, and just, you kind of just have to like, just more and more things were just coming on top of me every single day. And, then they're telling me I'm going to lose my hair, which I haven't yet. I still have it probably for like another week.
And it's gorgeous, right?
Yeah, but that was like even a challenge. Like, it's like, okay, how am I going to make money? How am I going to, what am I going to do? And then what about my fiance and his kids that I usually help care for so much? I'm not going to be able to do that as much. How are we going to, I felt so worthless. Like I couldn't fulfill my responsibilities as a partner, as a stepmom, as a creator, as a entrepreneur. There's no one I can call into. I run my own business. So there was just so many things, and I just felt like everything was being taken away from me, everything that I love, my time, my love for travel. My time is not my own anymore. I'm told I have to go to these doctor's appointments. My body is not my own anymore. I'm told I have to get these treatments, that there's no other treatment. I spoke to 4 naturopathic oncologists, and they all told me I still had to get chemo because of the type of cancer that I have. So my choices are being taken, my time, the things I'm passionate about, my work, just, everything's being taken from me. And then on top of that, they're going to take your hair too, so it's just kind of like my looks. Like I'm literally felt like I was just being degraded and punished by this cancer for just no reason at all. And I didn't do anything wrong. So it's very hard to accept. And, there was this thing, they said you could keep your hair, and it was like these cold caps or whatever. And I thought about doing it, and I looked into it, and it was literally so cumbersome. And so it was such a project in itself, and cancer is enough, so I checked into it. And in that process of like checking into these cold caps, and like it was really expensive, and there was like 900 cons, and the only pro was like keeping your hair, and it wasn't even your real hair, because you were still going to lose probably 50% or whatever, and you couldn't wash it and you couldn't brush it, and it was still going to come out. So that like also was like a crossroads for me of like, okay, I'm going through all this, like just for what? For hair. And then why do I want the hair so bad? Is it looks? Is it vanity? What is it? And so that, was another turning point of like, am I coming from a place of love or from a place of fear? And I had to really look within and say, you know, what am I scared of? Everyone knows, like I just announced everything on social media globally that I'm going to be getting cancer treatment. Everyone's actually going to expect me to lose my hair anyway. But it was just this innate feeling of like, they're taking everything from me, you know, what can I keep? And so I honestly finally came to terms that I was able to like release it. And so it was, you know, and this is all within the course from like diagnosis to like these major decisions within like a month or 6 weeks, you know, so it's so fast. You have no choice to make these rapid changes and these like growth changes like so fast and overnight. So I've been saying, you know, it was literally this overnight lesson in self-love, detachment, and radical acceptance of all that is, whether you like it or not, whether it's your choice path or not. This was obviously not part of the 5-year plan, but it is here now, and there's something I'm supposed to do with it. And so, you know, I feel that part of the lesson is vulnerability and sharing my own vulnerability of like, hey, I can't travel anymore. Hey, I was this cute girl who was living the dream, and now I'm going to be, you know, I'm going to be changing. You know, my looks are going to change. I'm being ripped of like, you know, kind of the old me. And it's almost like I can choose to jump through the rebirth, or I can hold back and do the caps and, you know, try to hold on to the old me as much as I can, or I can pass through that tunnel and be open to the new me that is coming that I don't even know yet.
And I honor you, and it was, I mean, you come from such a place of always positivity and grace, and I honor you and I love you tremendously. And I just want you to know how much you are loved. Like that is the most important thing, is that you found self-love within you. And you know, those that don't know her, everybody loves her, right? I mean, she's pure light, and she walks into the room and everybody loves you, but you had to find that within, right? And this is such an incredible gift to our viewers and your viewers as well, because not only is it just the cancer, but you had to be stripped of everything. You had to be stripped of your beauty, your love, your money, everything for you to find self-love, right? And so you and I have talked behind the camera about your soul's purpose and moving this to your soul's purpose. So what do you feel now that this is the next stage of your life? And like you said, the rebirth of you, moving into the rebirth. And so many people have problems with detachment. So many people have problems with holding on to the past or the old them or who they used to be. Maybe go into that and talk a little bit about how this is moving you to what your soul has really been longing you to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, you know, I was, you know, incredibly not attached, but like, I think that I was very attached to my life as it was, because that's what I created and that's what I wanted to create. And I was blessed that with hard work, it came to fruition. So yeah, I was attached to it, of course. You know, and then it was shown to me that it's going to shift. And so that was kind of like, you know, me kicking and screaming, going like, but no, I just got here. Like, I just got here. Like, let me just, I literally at the peak, you know, it just came. It was like, oh, you hit the peak. Let's just throw you back down, you know, like that quote. Like, I heard you like challenges, so here's some growth on your growth. I'm just like, quit playing, universe, like quit playing. But, you know, just like, I think, so that was like this huge, like I said, detachment. And then, you know, I had been wanting to do more. I kind of weirdly, before I got diagnosed, was kind of craving something with more, you know, meaning and self-growth and purpose. And I really wanted to really tap in more into my soul's purpose. And then I got cancer. So I don't know, it's crazy how things work. But, you know, I think that I probably wouldn't have, you know, been so open to sharing some of the things, you know, because I have a big story way before that nobody really has heard yet either, about like, you know, my mom and growing up with an alcoholic and drug addict mother, and like just really difficult times. And there's so much more to that, you know, that I've come through that I haven't even really shared, because I've always been like, look, there's travel, let's focus on the destination. And I really have not been one to focus on myself. You know, I started behind the camera and I was not in the photos, and you know what I mean? And then later I became more in the photos, and it's taken a really long time for me to kind of even show more of my private life and my relationship. And, you know, I think after like 2 years, me and Jacob had been together, and he'd barely been posted on my feed, you know, because I was just kind of a private person, and I just didn't need that attention or validation on me on a personal level. But I loved my passion of traveling, creating, and creating digital art. And so that was more the focus. And I was like in there in the background, but the definitely focus was not on me. And so crazy enough, like, you know, getting cancer, I debated on sharing this or not with my audience for a while, and I didn't know how it was going to affect my partnerships, and I didn't know how it was going to look. And so massive uncertainty. But I do know that after about a month and a half, it was boiling in me to come out. It had to come out. I was like, there's no way I can hide this for a year, nor do I want to. It's eating my soul. I had time to have those ups and downs and those roller coaster times, and come to terms with the fact that it is what it is, and we're going to do this, you know, whatever. And so by the time I finally announced it and like ripped the Band-Aid off, it was kind of like, I was ready to come from a place of strength and empowerment, and no pity, no victim whatsoever. Don't feel sorry for me. Yes, and loves and compassion, amazing. Don't feel sorry for me. Don't look at me as a victim. I'm not. But in that rapid overnight lessons of growth that we talked about, I, you know, became more confident in just being like, screw it. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of like, weirdly, going through this has forced me to be more confident in it doesn't make any sense, right? You think, oh my God, I'm losing my hair, I'm going bald. Like, I'm literally being stripped of everything that was me and that I'm known for, and like whatever. I don't know how many compliments I've gotten on my hair over the years. You know, my hair was like down to like here, you know, a month ago. I just cut it now. But, you know, so it was just like, cancer weirdly gave me confidence to be myself, which is crazy, right? It's like that. I'm now posting like, yep, I got my wig. And like, I would have never done that before. Like, I really would have never. And so I think that, and people have been shocked, it's resonated with them. People have come out and thanked me and said, oh my gosh, like, I thought my life was so bad, and you literally have cancer, and like, you're just like, things are still good. Like, you know, and they're like, you're teaching me. And so, you know, there's so much teaching going on that who knows who's not reaching out, you know, and there's just the people that felt called to like DM me or whatever. And so, I mean, there's so much going on. And then there's some people that are saying like, we haven't written you, but we've been watching and you're so inspiring and things like that. And I'm not trying to be inspiring by any means. It's just, I'm just like, it is what it is. This is what I have to share. This is what I'm doing. I'm not traveling. And then I think like pulling back the curtain and like, what are people not talking about? And like, this is the experience I'm going through. And like, I was in the hospital, like just got my port, you know, like I have like my little port here that they're going to put the chemo in, you know? So it's just kind of like, and everybody has stuff, like everybody has stuff, whether we post it, like Instagram's the highlight reel, and we all know that. And so I am breaking up the perfect feed a bit and just kind of being like, you know, it is what it is. I'm on a 1-year staycation, you know, in the America's finest city of San Diego. So this is what we're doing right now.
Well, I love that you're coming from a place of teaching, and I love that you're coming from a place of discernment and not judgment, right? And so that's such a big thing. And even towards yourself, right? There was no, now with what any judgment you had within yourself really is just gone, right? And I truly believe that the purpose of this cancer was to bring your light into the world, because you are so light, and you had just made the peak of your career, but it wasn't changing lives, right? Now you're changing lives, right? You're reaching people on a higher level. You're doing things, and you're teaching from your soul. And I think that that's one of the most important things that, and most of my viewers know this already, is like when you live from your soul, life is either going to show you that you're living from your soul or you're not living from your soul, right? And so, or even if you are living from your soul, where can you be better? Where can you move into global impact? Where can you do this on a higher level to help people? And I truly believe that, and I know that this is, you know, it's already shrunk after one treatment. This is the mindset of her that she has overcome so much in her life, and there's nothing that's ever stopped you. Right. And so this is not stopping you. This is only moving you further into your soul's purpose. But you had to be stripped of everything that you thought you knew. Right. And so I honor that, because that, sometimes our soul doesn't really agree with the decisions we're making as humans, right?
Stop playing soul.
And so it's going to push us, it's going to show us, it's going to tear us down completely. And I think that that's the lesson here, right? Is just live from your soul and listen. Your internal guidance system. The one thing I do want to touch, because it's so important, is she is so in tune with her body that she knew something was off, right? And she was a nurse. She was a nurse, and she did understand that, the mind-body connection. You do make the mind-body connection on such a deep level, and most people wouldn't be as in tune with their body. And so you were so in tune with your body that you found it right away. Maybe talk about the mind-body connection and knowing that, because you instantly knew that something was wrong as soon as you felt it within you. And then you went in, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy. Like, I really didn't have any symptoms. The symptoms are so slight, and I think we think I'm stage 2B. I'm still not 100%, which is crazy. They'll know after my surgery way down the line. But we think it's pretty sure it's 2B. So fairly early, could be earlier. But I found it on accident. I was laying down in bed, and everything, kind of shifted up or whatever, and I kind of felt this thing, and I think I was scratching or pulling a strap. I don't even really remember what I was doing. It was so uneventful. I was definitely not checking. I wish I could say that I had been, and I should have been, but I wasn't. And so when I checked it, I was like, oh, something's there. And this was back in May, and then I had a trip to Greece, coming up, and so I was like, oh, I'll do it when I get back. And then called and tried to get in with the doctor. They couldn't get me in. And long story short, it took them 2 months to get me in. I didn't get in until July 5th, and I found this in early May. So basically 2 months, I was kind of like stressing, but not too much, but knowing I needed to, whatever. And, I finally got in, and thank God I was persistent, because like, if I hadn't been, because it's so easy to get pushed down the list of to-dos, especially with my crazy travel schedule. 2 stepkids, 1 with special needs. She has a million appointments. Like, we both run businesses. There's a million things on my list, and I could have easily let it slip, and I could have been dead. So, like, early detection is so between life and death. And so know your body, be persistent, and I was just really tired, and, it was just, but I was traveling so much, I just thought it was jet lag and stuff like that, kind of, and then I was like having night sweats, but it was summer. So it was like, is it just too hot, and whatever. And, it's just like these little slight things, but, just kind of like, I felt it, and it was hard. And it wasn't like, sometimes you feel things and they're kind of tender, like around your time or whatever, but like, this was like hard, and I was like, this just doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? So, glad I went in, glad I persisted. Can't even stress that enough. And one more fun fact I have to mention, or I'd be doing you a disservice, is that I had a mammogram in August 2018, which was less than a year ago, before they found the cancer. And that mammogram showed clear, and I don't think that it was. And so because I was supposedly high risk because of family history and taking birth control and things like that for years, like most of us do, I was supposedly high risk for the other kind of cancer, but that's not even the kind that I have. But I went in for a mammogram last year, and then it was clear. But I can tell you that a month ago, whenever I got diagnosed, my mammogram was clear, and it was hiding. So why it was clear was that I have dense breast tissue. I have natural breast, never any surgeries. I have dense breast tissue because I'm young, I guess. And so I'm 38, just so you know. And so I have dense breast tissue, and my dense breast tissue was hiding a 2.1 centimeter cancer tumor. So feel yourself, know yourself. If I had just gone in for a mammogram, they would have sent me home. And that's what they said like a month ago. And it was definitely cancer there. So it could have been there a year ago and they didn't find it. But had I been doing my self-exams, they might have found it earlier, and I may not have had to have chemo. So please just, so I was like, if you remember nothing else, like, fill your boobs and eat your broccoli. Broccoli is the most like cancer fighting organ.
Yes. Tell me.
So I'm like, I'm gonna write a book one day and call it "Fill Your Boobs and Eat Your Broccoli," and then like that's it. So yeah, but so you just have to be in tune, and you have to be persistent. If you just have to.
Well, I just thank you so much for sharing your story, and I know it's not an easy journey. I've walked it alongside of you, and I know that it has not been easy. It has not been fun. And I think that you are a gift to this world, because everyone, whether it's breast cancer or even if it's just struggling through anything, you can get through it. You have to have mindset. You could absolutely move through everything. So how can people reach out to you on Instagram? I know that that's your biggest platform, right?
Yeah.
And so, or anywhere else.
Yeah, I'm definitely hanging out on Instagram the most. That's definitely my full-time job every day. So I am the Hackerette on Instagram, or you can look at my name, Kamelia Britton, and that's Kamelia. And yeah, and I'm also, everywhere else. Like I've been doing some YouTube videos for like more people with cancer, regular stuff on Instagram or whatever, but just definitely posting the most there, sharing my story, literally the day by day behind the scenes. Like, here's my new wig, and I'm gonna get pink hair tomorrow. And so, but yeah, definitely feel free to reach out there, shoot me a DM. I run my own account. There's no one else there, so you're getting me if you send a message. So.
And she is truly one of the most giving people that I know. And so if you need to reach out and you need information, you need support, reach out for sure, to Amelia, to myself as well. And I think the biggest lesson from all of this, you never know what tomorrow brings, one. So embrace every moment that you have. And look within, because it's all within you, right? As soon as she tore down everything, as soon as she said okay to the universe, and that's when you started to heal, right? You healed from within, and it's even shrinking, the tumor shrinking, you're healing emotionally, right? And I think that you're a completely different person in just a couple months that this has happened. And for those of you going on this journey, please know that there is support, know that you have love, and know that there is always light. It comes from within you, and behind your pain is always your purpose. So step into that. I love you, and we honor you, and we hope you have an amazing day. Take care, guys.